right here, and over there. This is home.
It's going to be my home too, for a short 24 hours. But this harsh stretch of desert is a permanent home to many people living in the Sahara.
Good morning! It's a beautiful crisp morning in the middle of the desert in a tiny little desert town called Chinguetti, and this is the Auberge Zarga, which is a tiny little guest house that we were staying in last night. Let me show you. This is one of the rooms. It's very simple, very rudimentary. This was our room right here. This is the beautiful little courtyard. And this is Abdou! Yeah. Abdou will be taking us to the nomadic people living in the desert, which is the whole reason why we came all the way out here. But first, a tour of Chinguetti.
I know it may seem hard to believe, but this town, now covered in sand, was once a vibrant city on the Trans-Sahara trading route. So Abdou, how many people used to live here?
10,000 people now, 5 families.
Wow, 10,000 people. City of rubble in the middle of the desert. In Mauritania, nothing happens without tea, and especially not a long journey into the desert like the one that awaits us.
Alright, our tour of the town is done. We're leaving Chinguetti behind in this tiny little Jeep. Sitting in the boot.
We got 2 YouTubers, 4 bags of gear, and about 35 houseflies.
We left the town behind. It soon disappeared into the reddish sandy glow that rises over this land. There was nothing around us, no points of orientation, no signs to tell the way. For over an hour, our driver simply sped across the desert towards a destination that only he knew.
We're here? Wow.
And here it was, the camp that was to be our home for the next 24 hours. And here is Soliman, our host, the head of the family, a man of few words, a Abdou, he calls himself. He is a desert nomad.
We're going to be making a traditional bread. It's actually a bread that you make in the sand with hot coals. But first, we need to prepare the bread mix. The dough, I guess that's what it's called. Making the bread is a pretty long process. It takes 30 minutes alone just to knead the dough and prepare it for the fire pit. This is where it's going to bake. Oh, wow. Oh wow! And this is the end result. Beautiful hot bread straight from a sandy fire pit. And you bite into it. Oh, it's super hot. And it's got this beautiful softness on the inside, crunchiness on the outside. Absolutely perfect. I could definitely eat this every day. We wash our hands. Why? Because we're about to eat with our hands. In fact, with the right hand, right? Yes. And we eat with the right hand because this is the clean hand according to the Quran. And in the entire Islamic world, people eat with their right hand. Grab a handful, squeeze it up a little bit, and eat. Super delicious.
It was a great honor to share this meal with Soliman and his family. It's not often that they eat goat meat out here in the desert. In fact, it's not often they have guests here.
I want to show you guys inside this tent. This is where the family lives. This is pretty much their eating space, their dining space, their cooking space, their sleeping and relaxing space. It's everything in this one tent. So basically here we've got the space for the guests. This is where we would normally sit if we're visiting. Over here, this is the place where they would sleep. Everybody just alongside here on mattresses. This here is the kitchen space. This is where the women make their tea. This is where they make breakfast, lunch, dinner, pretty much everything that can be done inside a tent. And there's another cooking space just outside, which I'll show you in a second. But this is it. This is where most of the action happens for the entire family of 6 people. So that was the main tent just over there. And here, this is the storage unit. This is where the family stores all of their food, things like vegetables. Right here we've got tea, we've got some coals, we've got gas. This is a natural organic fridge. It's actually the remains, the skin, the hide of a goat squeezed into a little parcel. You put water inside and it keeps cold. Amazing. These are all the important things that the family needs to survive out here in the desert self-sufficiently. And right here, this area.
Sorry, too much wind noise. This is the outdoor kitchen.
And this is the main cooking spot, and the fire goes underneath there. There's one more part of the camp, which is very important. These wooden shacks. These shacks made out of branches and straw. They're very, very modest, pretty well insulated. There's even a little solar panel here. And if you go inside, the nomads build these shacks themselves, all by themselves. So here we've got the tree branches, which are sort of support structures. There's a lot of sand everywhere, by the way. And the entire thing is just filled out, so much sand, filled out with straw to insulate it and to protect it from the wind and the elements. And of course, the sand, which still, if you just do this, is absolutely everywhere. They call it the silent killer, and I can definitely see why. There's actually one more place here in the camp that's of utmost importance to the family, and this is the one. This right here is the goat enclosure. Now the goats are not actually here because they've gone away to the desert to graze. Yes, you can graze goats in the desert, as unlikely as it sounds. However, there is something here, right here in front of me, that I'm looking at right now, that I want to share with you. It's a bit of a quieter spot. We're a little bit sheltered from the wind here. And you know, it's pretty crazy to think that tiny little animals like this and humans can survive in an environment as harsh as this. Not only is this desert, it's also a place which is so windy and cold and far off from our urban centers of civilization, you know? And yet, people and animals survive here. They have to. Guys, Mike just noticed that.
I came over and I was like, did you burn your hair? But no, it's actually chewed right off.
You chewed it off. My goat gave me a haircut. I don't know what to think about it. I should probably be mad, but...
Title of the vlog: I got a haircut by a goat.
In Mauritania. Oh my god, unbelievable. There's a lot of families all around the world who live in the desert. One very important part of their lives is, of course, getting water.
Most nomads, like Soliman's family, live around deep water wells where they can get their water straight from the bowels of the earth. It's hard and time-consuming work to get the water out of the well and transport it. As we were about to pay a visit to the neighbors, we thought we'd do the work for them and bring them a couple of buckets.
There's a great culture of hospitality in this part of the world, and especially with the nomads, who kind of have to rely on each other once in a while. Ladies live here completely on their own, so they kind of rely on the support of the neighboring families to survive and thrive. But they are making us some of that famous Mauritanian tea as we speak. Let's try it. Abdou taught us a very important lesson about tea in Mauritania. He said that the first taste is soft like life, the second is sweet like love, and the third is bitter like death. That's exactly how the taste evolves in your mouth. It's pretty amazing. Well, cheers to life, love, and death. Oh no!
No? Got it?
Your shoe!
It was a phone. Both shoes.
The other shoe! Where's the other shoe? We lost a shoe! We lost 2 shoes! We found both of them!
That's good.
As day turned into night, we found ourselves getting ready for sleep.
The place that we're sleeping in has a character of its own. And this is the interior of the hut. This is where we're sleeping tonight, in the middle of the desert. So this is our breakfast here today. We've got some local bread called hoops, got some fruit. So what the lady is doing here, unfortunately I can't film her. It would be disrespectful of me to do so. But what the older lady, the matron of the house, of the camp, is doing here is she's making cheese and butter out of goat milk. And the way that she does it is through a traditional method of swinging around some milk in a goat skin. And this here is goat's cheese, fresh goat's cheese. So what you do, you take some hoops and you dip it in the cheese, and voila, here's a little cheese sandwich. Mmm. Well, it's my last few minutes here at the camp, and honestly it's taken me a little while to digest everything that I saw here. You know, staying with this family for a short little while.
Look, I know I'll never be able to understand what it's actually like to live in the Sahara Desert. It's beyond the imagination of most of us watching this video on a phone or computer screen. But this is life, in all its softness, love, and bitterness. This is life, just like a cup of Mauritanian tea.